Morning, sir. I want to give you a preview of your harness. This is for your 1989 Chevrolet pickup with your drive-by-wire 5.3 LS using the 2005 and up Chevy truck fans. Delphi Voltec 2 truck injectors. Yours is actually returnless, but this is just all from mock-up, this motor is. So anyway, this is a full plug-and-play harness. Everything plugs right in. The only thing I still have left to do before I ship it out to you, I've got to put the connector on here for your tack module. These 4 wires here, these are for your cruise control. That'll be your cruise on, cruise engage, and then your speed up, whatever. This connector here, this is your fuel pump. This comes directly from your fuel pump relay mounted on the firewall. The LS-PCM commands the relay, and the power from the relay goes to this. Powers your pump. This plugs right into your truck. This connector right here, this is your rear wheel anti-lock brake system. This is your low brake module. That puts your park and brake light on if you're low on brake fluid. These are your injectors. This is injector 7, injector 5, injector 3, injector 1. There's your driver's side coil pack. Your alternator plug wire, I've actually ran it back behind the intake up along the valve cover, and then it's actually kind of spiraled up over here near the alternator. It's a little bit too long, but I don't know exactly where you were wanting to put your alternator at, so I don't know if you were going to use your original truck bracket or if you were going to use a Holley high rim at some point. So I made it a little bit longer just in case you end up using a Holley high rim at some point. Anyway, this is your coolant sensor. I've made it so it goes right between your alternator bracket and the coil pack bracket. It's real clean. Everything on this entire harness is labeled, every single connector, not everything. The only things that are not, I ran out of label tape in my label maker and I'm out of money, so. But the only thing that are not labeled is the fan connectors and the fan relays and the 2 wires here that provide battery power and battery ground to the fan relays. I highly suggest, I seem to be having a difficult time making this stay on my stool. I highly suggest that this orange wire here, before you just put it right at the battery, put a 30 amp fuse in it. You will thank me later if you ever end up having an issue with your fans. You can replace a fuse a lot easier than having to deal with burnt wires. I just didn't have an extra fuse. But anyway, this is your knock sensor right here. It actually plugs into a little clip that's right there that comes up from the back of the motor under the valley cover. This is your map sensor, manifold absolute pressure. This one right here, I made it a little long because it's kind of a biatch to get to plug this oil pressure sensor in when the motor is in the truck. So yeah, it's a little bit long, but I think you'll like that. This one laid down here, this is your cam sensor. Back over this way with nice heat tape going on top of the transmission. This is your transmission connector for the 4L60E. This is your vehicle speed sensor. If you actually notice, I just kind of stuffed it up there, but it's actually going to go out, back, around, and over the back of the tail shaft and back up like this. I guess I'm watching the wire more than I'm watching the screen, my bad. But it's gonna kind of spiral around, go underneath the tail shaft and come back up and plug it into the side of the transmission, and this leg of it here goes off over that way like that. Get that situated again. I'm not shop's a bit of a mess. Man, I apologize. I've just been working my ass off on all kinds of shit. Stay. Okay. Alright, going to the passenger side of the motor, we've got injector 8, injector 6, injector 4, and injector 2, passenger side coil connector, and we don't have anything that plugs into this side of the motor on the cylinder head surface like we did on the other side. But we also have the throttle body pigtail there that plugs in. I actually made that a little bit tight. It looked really clean on my board when I drew it down, but when I physically built the harness, I realized it was a little bit tight. So unfortunately, it's going to have to kind of go up above the fuel rail there, unless you want to extend those wires at some point going to the throttle body. But they're kind of confusing. So, but I mean, it does plug in. It fits. It's not going to come loose. It is a little bit snug, but as long as you route it just like this. What I've done, I've basically just turned all the injectors 90 degrees, or I'm sorry, 180 degrees, so that they're facing the inside of the intake manifold, and then I ran all the wire through between the intake manifold and the fuel rail, just to kind of help keep it a little bit cleaner. This wire right here in this bundle, that's your R4 compressor clutch. I've just got it labeled as AC, but that's for your R4 high mount, passenger high mount, so you can mount the old TBI compressor to the LS motor, and it'll turn on by the switch in the truck. This is your mass airflow sensor here. I've made it like 1.5 miles too long, but you can just tuck it up or over your modified inner fenders for your 22s or 24s or whatever, and hide it inside the fender. You're not going to hurt it. Alright, this portion over here, this here is your battery 12-volt bus bar. This is what screws onto the firewall. This here plugs into your fuel pump relay that's still on your firewall. I am not using a fuel pump fuse in your fuel pump relay circuit, your fuel pump circuit. The LSPCM kind of has a failsafe built into it, so I have not used a fuse with this. If you'd like to add a fuse in line, that's cool. If not, that's cool. It'll work as is. These 4 here, actually 3, these are your grounds. They just go right back here to the back of the block, like so. This right here, this is your ground that grounds to the stud sticking out on your firewall. That's your ground for your wiper motor. This here is your air conditioning low pressure cutout switch, or sensor switch, or whatever you want to call it. Some people call it a sensor, some people call it a switch. I'm not going to be that technical about it, but that's what plugs into your AC evaporator, and if your AC pressure is too low, it will not let the power pass through this switch to get to your AC compressor clutch. So this bend right in through here is where your bulk of your harness is actually going to go through your firewall into the cab of the truck. I was trying to put the plastic grommet back on there, but as many wires as I have here, the plastic grommet simply does not fit anymore. I'm not exactly sure how to tell you to seal it up, but just seal the hole the best we can, and you won't have an issue. As long as it doesn't rub on metal, as long as the wires don't rub on metal. But I mean, it's got some pretty nice loom on it. So this right here, this is your OBD2 port. Now you can see I've got a little end on it here. That's your ground wires. There's 2 grounds on the OBD2 port. That's going to need to be grounded to something metal inside the truck. The floor works. A bracket underneath the dashboard works. Anything like that. The green wire is your serial data wire from your computer, and then the orange wire here needs to be a constant battery 12 volt, not a switched battery 12 volt, but a constant battery 12 volt. This connector right here, this is up underneath your dashboard now. This is your climate control connector. This is what sends power to your AC low cutout switch. And that's also the red wire on this powers your blower motor or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. This one right here, this is your main battery power going underneath the truck. When I had my dashboard out of my 93 at one point, and the one I had out of my 89 as well, actually, I traced this wire down and found out that it actually powers your headlight switch. So if you don't have this plugged in, your headlight switch will not work. Your headlights will not come on. This is your PCM connectors. This is your blue connector. I've labeled it. You know exactly what it is. The only thing I'd like to say on these is that on the transmission for the 4L60E, they have 2 yellow and black wires, and I forget what the other color is, but message me if you got any problem with your transmission. But pin 47 and pin 51, one of them is a TFT, which is something to do with like a temperature, a trans fluid temp, I believe it's called. And the other one is shift solenoid 2 or shift solenoid B, whatever way you want to call it. So if your transmission doesn't shift out of first gear, swap 47 and 51 and it will. I've actually, I believe that I have those in the correct spot. I did ohm out every single wire in this harness to make sure that it works. I do not have a running engine yet to test everything on, nor do I still have my old 89 together in one piece to test it. I wish I did. Hopefully I will in the future, if I continue to build wiring harnesses, that is. But anyway, if you've got any questions on this wiring harness, just give me a call. 501-516-6592 is actually my fiance's number, but it's the only phone that we have at the moment. My personal number is 941-8423, 501 area code, but my phone doesn't work at the moment. It will again soon, but anyway, if you have any questions at all, just give me a shout. Oh yeah, before I let you go, this connector right here, I almost forgot to mention these. This is your oxygen sensors. This is oxygen sensor bank 2, sensor 1, and oxygen sensor bank 1. Sensor 1 is, yep. So I actually have these on the wrong side, but it'll reach. Just my bad. So that is bank 2 sensor 1, and this one is bank 1 sensor 1. So just kind of route them like so. Just lay that over top of the bell housing and let it go to the driver's side, and then same with that one. Just your oxygen sensor be somewhere near in this area anyways. This is like I said, it's a full pulley. It's a full plug and play. The only thing you've got to do is connect your grounds and one constant battery power and plug everything in. This is actually the very first one that I've ever made quite like this. It's a full plug and play. Others have been almost a full plug and play, but did not include the fuel pump connector and didn't include the fan pigtails and things of that nature. But anyway, if you got any kind of questions on it or concerns or anything, just give me a buzz or shoot me a message on Facebook. I'm almost always checking messages on Facebook or the group or something like that. Anyway, like I said, this is Charles, master of OBS LSX swap group. Wiring harness engineer guru, I guess some people say. That's just self-proclaimed, but just a noble guy that likes to make engines run in older trucks and have everything work like factory. So anyway, hope you like it. I'm going to ship it to you in a couple of hours. Hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.